Hey y'all, welcome back to Your Best Friend's Mom, and tonight I'm going to be making a recipe that in my family we call Italian chicken and pasta, and my nieces, nephews, my personal children love this. So I'm not going to turn the camera around and talk to you face to face, but I am going to show you everything that I'm doing here tonight. So the first thing that you need, you'll see there's quite a few vegetables here. I have zucchini, squash, and broccoli, and I've cut all of these in pretty much the same size so that they'll cook evenly and to the same, pretty much the same speed. I have EVOO, extra virgin olive oil, and I also have some diced tomatoes here, and they have basil, garlic, and oregano in them. Then we're going to come over here. I've just finished rinsing, and I need to rinse these. This is bow tie pasta. And I'm draining that and I'm rinsing the starch off of it. That way my pasta stops cooking, and it also gets the sticky off of it. So we're going to let this drain just a little bit. Over here in my skillet, I have put about a tablespoon of the EVOO, and I have diced chicken breast. And I got a little bit of a late start because my burner that I've been using all weekend long has just stopped working. Please don't ask me why, because I have no idea. So we're going to let this cook real quick. And like I said, this is one of those recipes that you can multiply. You can multiply, you can divide. I'm making this in my copper pot rather than one of my cast iron skillets because I want this to make a lot, because I want to be able to feed a lot. I want leftovers for lunch tomorrow for starters, and I want to be able to send some home with Cody and Shandace. So let's talk about the chicken that I have. I just got it out of the deep freeze, and I'm thawing it real quickly. And while chicken that you are thawing, if you're intending to dice it up, cut it up, slice it up, however, what you want to do, you want to thaw it to a point that it's almost defrosted, but it's still got what Randy calls a little bit of ice in it, because that makes it a lot easier to be able to cut up. So the first thing that we did was we ran this through the microwave and let it thaw quickly, and then I've got it in some extra virgin olive oil. And so the next thing that I know that this is not completely cooked, but it's going to cook as we're going along, because I need for my squash and my zucchini to be able to cook. So what I'm hoping is that I can get all of this over to my stove. Of course, the broccoli is going to fall off. But the broccoli, in all honesty, we're going to take the broccoli and we're going to push it off because the broccoli doesn't need to cook as quickly. Really, I just kind of want to blanch this a little bit. So I'm just going to shove it all over here onto my cabinet that I have sanitized for your protection. And whoop, get off of there. All right, so now I'm going to take my squash and my zucchini, and yes, I'm doing all of this with one hand so I can video, and we're going to catch the stragglers and we're going to throw them in. Get in there. We're going to throw them in so that they can cook. They're going to take a little bit longer than what you would think to cook. Not as long as what the chicken is going to take to cook, but we're going to let this get in here and we're going to let them start to simmer and saute along with the chicken. Now I'm going to add some salt and pepper, pretty liberal, because remember, chicken, all these items that I just put in here don't have salt in them. And in order for them to have good flavor, you're going to need to add some salt. You're going to want to add a little bit of pepper. And we're just going to let that cook down for just a little bit. Then we're going to come back over here and we're going to put our broccoli back on our board. And I always buy the diced tomatoes with the garlic and the oregano and the basil in them because they've had an opportunity to stew. They've been canned. Yeah, you could, if you were feeling really ambitious, you could make your own sauce, but why? You can keep this stuff in the cabinet forever. It's like the apocalypse items that if, like, we just went through, you can't get out, you don't have the ability to go out and eat, maybe stuff you can't find in the grocery store. You want to be able to use your pantry to feed your crew. So as we're cooking along here, We're going to check our pasta and make sure that it has thoroughly drained. It's got a little water on the top of it, which is absolutely fine. We're going to use that here in just a minute. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up my tomatoes. And like I said, I'm doing this one-handed, so y'all bear with me tonight. Hold on just a sec. All right, let's see if we can't get this turned around. Get this to where you can see what we're doing. All right, so we're going to open up these tomatoes real quick. And I have not used an electric can opener in, I couldn't even tell you how long, because I didn't want it on my cabinet, so I have one of these. It also has a handy dandy little bottle opener, should you ever be in need of that sort of thing. So I'm going to take this. I left the lid on it. So we're going to walk over here and we're going to dump all of these into, there we go. We're going to dump all these in. Let me flip you around here so we can see better and I can see what y'all are saying. All right, so now we can stir this and we're gonna let all of the tomatoes combine with the zucchini and the chicken, because I still want this chicken to cook. It's not quite cooked yet, but look how gorgeous that is. It's got the red and the yellow and the green, and this is, in all honesty, a fairly easy and quick recipe to put together. One thing that I forgot, we're going to put Parmesan on this, so y'all hold on. Nothing like being prepared, right? Like I said, this is going to be kind of primitive this evening, but we have to have that Parmesan on the top of it to make it all work out. Now I'm going to take my pasta, and like I said, this is a one-hand deal going on tonight. Put it back in the sink, get all the things, do all the stuff. Stir it in. And I want to make sure that all of my pasta is incorporated with my tomatoes. In fact, I'm going to add just a little bit of water. And I'm going to use my can because I want to make sure that I use up what might be the residue on the inside of this can. It's still going to have good flavor on it, but because I'm going to want to steam my broccoli here in just a little bit, I want to make sure I have enough liquid to steam with. So, see how gorgeous that is? And this is a fairly big pot, in all honesty. It's not as big a pot as what I normally use. Somewhere in the recesses of my shed, I have an electric skillet. And that's a lot of times what I use. But if you're cooking for a small size family, or you just want this to be a one meal deal, you can do it in a regular skillet and it will be fine. You just don't want to overload it, because we're fixing to put broccoli in this and we're going to put a lid on it and steam it. So here we go with the broccoli. And I'm going to stir the broccoli around and get it, because what I want is for it to get into the hot liquid. And we're going to take that tomato because it's going to be good. And we're going to throw him back in. And so we're going to make sure that all of our broccoli gets wet. Then we're going to reach down here and another one got loose. All right, so we're going to reach down here and I'm going to get my lid because I forgot that I needed that. See the size of the skillet that I have? I call it a skillet. It's probably considered to be a sauce pot, but that's all right too. So I'm going to put the lid on this and I'm going to let the steam develop. You'll see that it's starting to develop, and that's what's going to steam my broccoli and continue to cook my Italian chicken and pasta, because I want to make sure that my chicken is cooked. I want to make sure that my vegetables that are in here are also cooked, and I want to make sure that my broccoli gets good and steamed, and everything needs to be able to incorporate so that it is as flavorful as it can be. So I have started with, I took about 3 large chicken breasts. I'm feeding me and Cody and Candace and hoping for leftovers. So I took about 3 good-sized chicken breasts, and I diced them up, and I put them in this skillet with about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and then got them cooking. And I diced up some, in the extra virgin olive oil, I diced up some broccoli and zucchini and squash. I started sauteing the zucchini and squash first because they take a little bit longer to cook. Then I put in my tomatoes that should be, really honestly, these sort of things should be a pantry staple. Yes, I have canned tomatoes downstairs in my basement that we grew, but this is one of those easy things that I don't want to have to simmer a sauce all evening for. So it's like a pantry staple. And then I took my bow tie pasta, which here it is, my bow tie pasta. You'll find it either called bow ties, or I think this is farfalla, but I used about a half a bag, and that's going to be plenty of pasta. Did it according to directions, and then rinsed it, or drained it, rinsed it, and then drained it some more, and then I tossed everything in together with the broccoli that I had put into bite-sized pieces, and we're putting it all together. And as you can see, the steam has started on my glass lid, and when I raise this up, you'll see that the broccoli has changed to a beautiful green color. And let me see how pretty that is. You can hear it boiling. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this down because I don't want anything to scorch to the bottom. And I'm going to take the lid off of it, and I'm going to stir it around just a little bit to make sure that we have plenty of stuff. It's definitely getting all of the goodies off of the bottom, and everything is getting incorporated. But see how the broccoli has turned to that bright green? So that little noise, the barking of the dog, means that my company's here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to sprinkle this with Parmesan cheese. A lot more Parmesan cheese, but I got to get this open first. But Parmesan cheese goes on top. Y'all hang loose with me for just a sec because, give me a sec. Give me some grace. I'm going to put Parmesan on it, and then we're going to be ready to go. All right, so we're back with the Parmesan. We're going to sprinkle this on here, and it's going to be ready to serve. Italian chicken and pasta. That took less than 30 minutes. Bon appetit. Y'all see you next time. Bye-bye.